So, whenever you are worried about the quality of the product, quality of the processes, then you always think of ISO, that is International Organization of Standardization. So, we'll talk about ISO 9000 today, and we'll see the overview first. That is the ISO 9000 family of standards. ISO has a family, so we'll talk about a few of them. Overview of ISO 9001, because 9001 also belongs to ISO 9000 family of standards. Then we'll see the three levels of quality assurance. And what about the manufacturing industry versus the software industry? Because manufacturing, you're making products here, but you are making software here. Software cannot be seen; it can only be felt. And moreover, manufacturing or products, unlike that, software doesn't wear out. So there is a difference. There's those these two are varied. We'll see also 20 quality elements that are incorporated or present in ISO 9000. Then we see the characteristic of an ISO 9000 quality system. What are the characteristics? What are the attributes? So let us start with the ISO 9000 family of standards. ISO is a body which formulate these standards, a series of international quality standards which are developed by International Organization of Standardization. These are the family of standards. It was originally developed for two-party contractual situations, mainly for manufacturing environments. Two-party means, of course, the customer and the seller. It applies to the QMS. This word you'll always come across, QMS. So it applies to quality management system and the process used to produce a product. So we are talking about processes here. Please understand, ISO never says anything about the product. It never says that if you apply these standards, if you follow this quality management system, then you are going to make a good product. It doesn't speak about that. It only tells you about the processes. And this ensures that the process can consistently produce products that meet the expectation of the customers. What it means is that if you follow the processes which you have decided or which are being told by the ISO 9000 family of standards, then you will be able to consistently produce the products which will meet the expectation of the customers. ISO 9000 family of standards, it provides a framework for improving your business processes. Again, we are talking about the processes, the activities, the tasks. It does not provide for leading edge quality. Again, ISO does not provide for leading edge quality, but it does provide a strong quality foundation upon which a company can be built and good products can be manufactured. It provides a generic model of the quality process. Again, it says it lays down the idea of quality process and which must be instantiated or absorbed by each organization. It describes what, at the minimum, must be done, but it does not specify how things are to be done. Again, it will never tell you how you're going to do it, but minimum what needs to be must be done. This is the ISO 9000 and quality management. See, each and every part of this figure, this representation shows the ISO 9000 and quality management. So ISO 9000 quality models, they are, these are instantiated as organization quality manuals. So if you are following ISO or if you are ISO 9000 or standard qualified, or you can say that I am an ISO 9000 company, then you ought to have a quality manual. And this is to develop certain, you may have number of projects. So project 1 quality plan, project 2 quality plan, project 3 quality plan, and it supports the project quality management. And for assessment, of course, organization quality process for assessment of project quality management. These are the guidelines for selection and use of the ISO 9000 family of standards. First of all, ISO 9001, 9001. See, there is a hyphen. These are the standards for certification: ISO 9001, ISO 9002, and ISO 9003. ISO 9001 is for us. This is a standard for manufacturing. Please understand, ISO 9001 is a standard for manufacturing. These are the guidelines to standards like ISO 9004, ISO 9004-2, and ISO 9003. And I want to highlight here and emphasize that ISO 9003, let me write it here. ISO 9003, it is a guideline for ISO 9001 for software. ISO 9003 hyphen. So ISO 9001 is a general guideline which gives background information about the family of standards. In this ISO 9001 or ISO 9002 or ISO 9003, these are the standards in the family of ISO 9000 containing requirements on a supplier. ISO 9002 and ISO 9003, these are subsets of ISO 9001. These are subsets of ISO 9001. So ISO 9002 applies when there is no design. ISO 9003 applies when there is neither design nor production. ISO 9004, on the other hand, is a comprehensive guideline to the use of ISO 9000 standards. And for software development, of course, ISO 9001 is the standard to use, while the ISO 9003 is a guideline on how to use this ISO 9001 for software development. ISO 9004 too, again, it is a guideline for application of ISO 9001 to the supplier services, which include the computers and centers and other suppliers of data services. What are the relationship then of ISO 9000 standards? ISO 9001, this is a complete circle which imbibes these two. So ISO 9001 is about design and servicing. Inside it we have ISO 9002, this is for production and installation, and ISO 9003 for final inspection and testing. So the first version of ISO 9001 was published in the year 1987, and version of ISO standards are defined by the year of publication, like ISO 9001 1994. What it means is ISO 9001 in the year 1994. And since software production is largely a question of design, ISO 9001 is the standard to use again. Its title is Quality Systems, Model for Quality Assurance is Design, Development, Production, Installation and Servicing. So ISO 9001 focuses on the management of instead of products. Again, it focuses on management, not on the products. So there are two basic requirements for ISO 9001. First is all operations influencing the quality shall be under control. This is the first requirement of ISO 9001. All the operations which may influence in some or the other way quality should be under control, and the control should be or shall be visible. What it means? It means it requires that plans, procedure, the organization to be documented. So you need to have documents at every stage, and important activities needs to be recorded. So ISO 9001 expects a fairly strict organization where managers have the responsibility and the authority to control the work of their subordinates. Thereby, you have self-organizing groups. In this, it is very difficult to fit into ISO 9001 because this is the role and responsibility of the manager to you can say to put this ISO 9001 in action for the organization. So because ISO 9001 is written for the manufacturing industry, some interpretation is required to apply it for the software development. This is the software development versus the manufacturing. This is the manufacturing processes, and here we have software development processes. In manufacturing processes, we have customer requirement. We do the product development. Production, we do the inspection, test, install, and maintenance and service. While in the software development process, we first gather the requirement. We do the design like high level and low level. Then we code, then we test, then we package and install, and we do the maintenance. In this, the design phase is somewhat common, but implementation is somewhat different. From this point to this point, ISO 9001 is there. From this point to this point, ISO 9002. For the inspection and testing, we have, of course, ISO 9003. So these are the application of ISO 9001 standard for the manufacturing and development processes. Let us see the three levels of quality assurance. ISO 9001 quality systems This is the model for quality assurance in design and development, production, installation, and servicing. So if the software development organization design the product it develops, then ISO 9001 is going to be applied. It will apply. ISO 9002 quality systems. This is a model of quality assurance for production and installation. The previous one was 9001 was the model for quality assurance in design and development, production, installation, and servicing. This is about production and installation. So if the software development organization implement products from a design that is provided to you, then ISO 9002 will apply. What about ISO 9003? ISO 9003 quality systems. So this model for quality assurance in final inspection and testing. So we are talking about testing here. So if the organization is a test organization, then ISO 9003 is going to be applied, and this will apply. Because ISO 9001 covers more aspects of development, more elements of the standard applied to ISO 9001 than to the ISO 9002 or ISO 9003. This is the manufacturing industry versus software industry with respect to the design, production, and functionality. And we see that in the manufacturing, the design and production is more, while in software design is much more than the manufacturing counterpart, while the functionality is also great. So manufacturing, for example, design is relatively minor activity, for example, ball pens, but the production cost for each manufactured item is notable. In terms of, in the case of software development, it is nearly 100% design. So production cost for each copy of software is insignificant. You make one and you can just copy it. Just copy it. You have a product, you can install it anywhere. And the functionality of the software is orders of magnitude greater than the most manufactured items. Functionality. That is what we see in the diagram just now. There are 20 quality elements in ISO 9000. Sorry. First is your management responsibility. That means you must clearly define the general responsibility of the company management, which is in terms of quality policy, organization, and how the management review is going to be. Then the second is quality system. You must establish, document, implement, and maintain a quality system that would conform to the ISO 9000. Then comes the contract review. You must have procedure for ensuring that what is expected from you is properly, adequately defined. They are documented, means on black and white, and then you have the capability to satisfy the requirements which are being posed by the user. Then the design control. You must have procedure for controlling and verifying the design output to ensure that specified requirements needs to be met and how you are going to meet it. Then document control. It says you must have defined procedure to control all the documents. Document control is important, and which includes the review, approval, and change, and ensure the right level of information is available to the right person at the right time. And you must also maintain a master list of these current documents. That is called the document control. Then we come to the purchasing. You must ensure that the parts obtained from elsewhere, used in the product or in the production of the product, it meets their specified requirement. Then customer supplied products. You must have procedure for verification and safe storage and maintenance of the products or parts which are provided by the customer to be included in the product. So these are the customer supplied products. You need to take care of this in terms of proper managing them and holding them. Then comes the product identification and traceability. Whenever appropriate, you need to have procedure for identifying and tracing the product during all stages of production, either maybe delivery or installation. Then comes the process control. You must carry out production under controlled condition, which include the monitoring of the progress, approval of processes and equipment, etc. Then comes the inspection and testing. You must have procedures for all levels of inspection and testing that you have identified as being required. You are also required to maintain the records of test activity. You are doing testing, then you have to record that also. What was done, what was found. Then inspection, measuring and test equipment. You must control, calibrate, maintain inspection, measuring and test equipment. Inspection and test status. You must be able to identify the test status of the product throughout the process. Then what about the non-conforming products? Products which are not conforming to what was laid down in the quality plan. So you must have procedures for controlling a product that does not conform to the specified requirements. Then corrective action. You must have procedure for investigating the causes for what made the non-conforming products, and just ensure that you need to lay down or employ the corrective actions to prevent the recurrences. Then handling storage, packaging and delivery. You must have a good system for storing, controlling the various parts that will compose your actual product during the product development and through the product delivery. In maintaining the quality records, you must identify and keep records to demonstrate achievement of product quality and effective operation of your quality systems. Then audits, very important. You can't just do it. You have to be there has to be someone to see what you're doing is correct or not. You must plan and carry out internal quality audits by qualified individuals to verify you are doing what you say you are doing and to determine the effectiveness of your quality system. Then comes the training. Identification of training needs for your people, providing the required training, and then keeping record of what, and where the person has been trained, and what more training is required. The servicing. You must have procedure for servicing your product when this requirement is specified in the contract, if at all servicing is there. Then the important is statistical technique. You must show that any statistical technique that you are going to employ, they're correct. And quality objectives of, see, we have just seen the 20 quality elements in ISO 9000, and these are, you may not be able to remember all of these, but the idea should be very clear. That right from the management responsibility to the quality plan to the training to the service to the keeping of records, document control, and customer supplied products, maintaining them. All these are very important as far as these quality elements are there in ISO 9000. And if you do all this, then ISO 9000 says that you will have a quality product. Now we'll talk about the characteristics of an ISO 9000 quality system. First is quality objectives. The company should have a quality policy that states clearly and unambiguously the quality goals and the objectives and the strategy they will use to achieve them. Then the commitment, involvement and attitude. All the people who are involved, stakeholders, employees, managers, must be committed to the quality objectives and of course involved in achieving the objectives. Then controlled. These things needs to be controlled. So every aspect of what is done during the development process must be controlled. It should be effective. It means, these are the means how you make it effective. That means you measure whether your quality system is really working for you or not. Otherwise, you need to change. Auditable. ISO 9000 requires the systematic internal quality audits to be conducted every now and then. Most possibly every 6 monthly or quarterly. Then documented quality system. Your quality system, including the processes and the procedures, should be documented to the extent that if you had to replace all your employees, you could do it and still continue your business without any hurdle. Continual improvement. ISO 9000 requires that your quality system should be continuously monitored and reviewed for weaknesses and then improvement that can be identified and implemented. How are you going to satisfy ISO 9000? First, quality policy. You must have a quality policy in a written form, documented form. Quality manager. You must have a management representative which is reporting at a higher level to be responsible for your quality system and for assuring that ISO 9000 conformance is achieved. Quality manual. ISO 9000 requires that your quality system should be documented. Then documented procedures and processes. You should document all procedures that will be needed to continue your operation if all your people were to replace. Project plan. For software development, of course, this means planning the steps and activities that will be performed in transforming the product requirements into final product. Then build plan. It should specify what parts have to come together to create the entire product, in what order, when, and it should specify their interdependencies also. Then test plan. Every project should have a test plan that is established at the beginning of the project and it may be updated as the project progresses. Service plan. Every product should have a service plan which includes stating the planned maintenance, corrective, preventive, and adaptive, perfective. These are the activities that will be performed after the product is delivered and who will perform the activities. And quality records. Records have to be kept so that you can show that you have done what you have said you are going to do. Training records. ISO 9001 also requires that you are able to show that you assign qualified people for various tasks and that you identify and provide required training to your employees also. Then internal quality system audits. Periodic planned or internal audits of your quality system should be conducted by an internal quality auditor, certified, ISO certified, for the purpose of determining the effectiveness of your quality system and ensuring that planned activities and procedures are being followed. Then library control system. ISO 9000 requires proper and safe storage of the parts being developed. The library control system should also be used to store and control project and quality system documentation, including the documented processes and procedures. What are the essential and standard elements? What do we mean by where we can have essential? What are the standard elements? These ISO 9000 standard elements which we have just seen, these are the essentials to conformance. Okay, wherever it is required, you can just make cross and these quality policies, quality manager, quality manual. These are they are required. You cannot. These are essential, and these which are not cross, they are standard elements. And for others also the same things goes. So this is ISO 9000 conforming quality system for software development. What it says is, if you have a quality system, you ought to have a quality plan, procedure handbook, support items, project items. This must be controlled and should be demonstrated like control effectiveness and auditability. The personnel, of course, for what are employees, management, quality manager, purchasers, subcontractors. And this needs to be committed, involved, aware, and responsible. And support items, this must be documented. This must be effective, controlled, and continuously improved. So this is how we can adopt it for the software development. Thank you so much. This is about the ISO 9000 with the perspective of software also.